Welcome, everyone, week 12 with Greg Roth and the Ambassador David E.B. This is yours truly, Eric Glazer, entering with a bang. This is your Sharp Squares podcast for week 12, 2025-26. Last week, our Sharps, 52.5%. We did 2-1 on our medal games, 4-1 in pick 5. That is our eighth. That's our eighth consecutive winning week in pick 5. 3-2-1. We were 2-1, but we only earned 3 of 6 points because, as a few people have pointed out to me, we did lose our top gold game. That was the Minnesota Vikings. All right. For the season, we're over 500 now in all pools. Just about 53% in pick 5, just under 53% in 3-2-1. Here we go. This is going to be a very interesting week, folks. So strap in. You're going to have to get creative. But I'm not going to tell you what's so interesting. You know who is in a segment we call Gold, Silver, Bronze? Everyone's favorite fellow degenerate, the Greg Roth.
Eric, thank you so much. Ambassador, it's good to see you. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed your week off.
I did.
We have, you missed another winning week, our best record week in quite some time at 4-1.
Very interesting, isn't it?
8 straight winning weeks. What could go wrong? Well, we don't have a lot of margin for error this week to extend our winning streak to 9 weeks. Why? We only have one medal game. But that medal game is gold. And that pick is the Dallas Cowboys. They are plus 3.5, a home dog, which we like, hosting the Philadelphia Eagles, the defending Super Bowl champs, of course. Ross Tucker, Stuckey, Rob Pizzola, Whale Capper, Sharper Square Podcast, and Marty Herney all picked Dallas. I can't wait to hear why in the handicapping highlight segment. Gail Alexander and Dissented picked the Eagles. So only one medal game, the Cowboys. They're going to be our 3-point game. What have we done all season? Somewhat successfully or mostly successfully. We take our next 4 highest rated games to fill out. In this case, there's even a 5th game that is not a medal game that we're going to be using. I'll get to that in a second. But using the 3-2-1 lines, as we have done for quite some time now, we have the next 4 highest rated games. I'm going to give them to you in order. We did have a tie for second place. Evie broke the tie. So our 2-point game is going to be the Green Bay Packers. They're minus 6.5. They're at home welcoming the Minnesota Vikings. Fabian Summer and Sharper Square Podcast both picked Green Bay. Nobody took Minnesota. They were tied in the 3-2-1 pool lines with the 49ers, who is our 3rd highest rated game. We're tied for 2nd at minus 7. They are hosting the Carolina Panthers. Gail Alexander and Adam Chernoff picked San Francisco. Cleve TA and Dissent took the Panthers. The 4th highest rated game, again, using the 3-2-1 lines, that pick is the Indianapolis Colts. They're plus 3.5. They're in Kansas City to take on the Chiefs. RJ Bell, Sharper Square Podcast, Marty Herney picked Indianapolis. Kelly Stewart did pick the Chiefs in disagreement. And the 5th highest rated game in our 3-2-1 pool would be the Seattle Seahawks. They're minus 13.5. A huge road favorite in Tennessee to take on the Titans. Sharper Square Pod, that Cass and Todd Wishnev picked Seahawks. Nobody picked Tennessee. And I'm going to add the 6th.
I'm quite confident that is our biggest road favorite we've ever taken
in history, and probably will be for quite some time. So to summarize the 3-2-1 picks, Cowboys are gold at plus 3.5. The Packers at 2 are minus 6.5. The 49ers at 1 are at minus 7.
Packers, Niners dead heat. We broke the tie by the ambassador.
But again, none of those games are even close to a medal game. You have a goal game and you have nothing else close in the system, just to clarify that. So the Cowboys and the Packers both make our pick 5. The aforementioned Colts and Seahawks are also in our pick 5. One change, the 49ers are -7.5 in our pick 5 pool. They're out. And the New England Patriots are in. They're -6.5 in New England, welcoming the Cincinnati Bengals. A Sharper Square podcast took New England. The Whale Capper in Dissent took the Bengals. So Cowboys, Packers, Patriots, Colts, and Seahawks are the pick 5. I hope I explained that well. I was a little confused even right before we started to record. I hope that was clear, guys.
Great job. And if that's all you're looking for and you don't want to hear that cowboy handicapping highlight, you are now all dismissed. And let's jump into some trends and then we'll get into the Cowboy game. Take it away, Ambassador.
All right. Thanks, Eric. We've got some trends from Bet Labs to start things off. And if I may be allowed to editorialize for a moment, I think these are some darn fine trends. The first one is since 2003, double-digit road favorites are 57, 75, and 1 against the spread. That's only 43%. We've got one game where that applies this weekend. That's the Seahawks with that big 13.5-point margin at the Titans. Second trend, with the Lions, Jared Goff is 4-0 straight up and 4-0 against the spread as a double-digit favorite. That applies, of course, this weekend to the Lions game versus the Giants, where the Lions are 10.5-point favorites. And finally, you might not have heard, but the Chiefs have lost 2 games in a row. You might not know it, but this is the 6th time that Patrick Mahomes has lost back-to-back games in the same season. In the next game after that happened, the Chiefs went 5-0 straight up and 4-0-1 against the spread.
Couple more reasons to take the Chiefs from the Action Network. As you guys may have recalled from last week's show, the Chiefs had a historic line versus the 8-2 Broncos, and they did lose, of course. This week, Kansas City 5-5 straight up and is a favorite versus the 8-2 Colts. The Chiefs are the 15th team since 1990 to be 5-5 or worse and favored versus a team with an 80% plus win percentage, 80% or higher win percentage in their 11th game. These previous 14 teams went 14-0 straight up and 12-0-2 ATS.
Guys, interesting trend on the 49ers, which doesn't help us. They're our 1-point game at 3-2-1. Since Christmas of 2029, San Francisco is 1-15 against the spread after an outright win. Wow. The worst mark of any team in the NFL. Off of a straight-up win, playing at home in San Francisco, the 49ers have lost 12 consecutive games against the spread, with their last cover coming in October of 2025. That's shocking in general, but particularly for the 49ers, I think. And we do have them as our 1-point game. So I think we're going to break the streak. I think we're going to break the streak there for the 49ers.
We're going to break the streak for that and the Seahawks at -13.5 as a double-digit road favorite, 43%.
But not for this next trend. We don't want to break the streak because it's relevant to our gold game.
The next trend is the Cowboys and Dak Prescott, who's excelled in his career against NFC East foes. He's 31-13 against the spread versus the NFC East, covering the spread by 6.8 points per game. Also, Dak is 21-2 straight up and 17-6 against the spread at home versus the NFC East in his career. And when an NFC East team made the playoffs the year prior, they are 0-9 straight up when facing Dak Prescott in Dallas, losing by 19.6 points per game.
Make it make sense, because that does not make any sense, does it?
No.
No, and it's not going to work out for us. One final set of trends, again, from the Action Network. Not terribly relevant, but I thought it was incredibly interesting, and I have friends in these cities, so why not? The NFC West is dominating against the number this season. If you just took those teams, you would be 18-7, meaning you take those teams versus their opponents when their opponents are outside the division, of course. That's the best mark through 11 weeks for any division since 2016. The Rams are 6-1, Seahawks 5-1, Cardinals 4-2, and the 49ers are 500 against the spread.
Handicapping highlights, the gold game. It's the Cowboys +3.5 hosting the Eagles. Handicapping theme trend number 1, Philadelphia's offensive decline and severe offensive line problems. Lane Johnson is out and Cam Jurgens is banged up, eliminating key jumbo set run packages. You got to love those jumbo set run packages that unlocks the Eagles ground game and Saquon Barkley. Multiple sharps call the Eagles offense, quote, fundamentally broken, unquote, noting 2 straight post-bye games with no improvement. Without offensive line stability, Eagles lack explosive plays and are increasingly forced into check down heavy sequences.
The second theme here is the fact that the Cowboys defense is dramatically upgraded and schematically favored. The acquisition of Quinnen Williams has transformed the Dallas interior, and pressure packages built around him generated 25% pressure rate. Also, the secondary gets key pieces back, e.g., Savion Red and Deion Bland. Also, Dallas can sit in the zone, which matches perfectly against Hurts. He's been poor versus zone throughout the season. Not to mention the Dallas secondary plus linebacker upgrades lets them force Hurts into checkdowns. And the Cowboys excel at attacking the cornerback 2. Philadelphia is still vulnerable there, especially if their own pass rush can't cover for the offensive line absences.
Bunch of situational scheduling advantages to Dallas as well. Philadelphia is playing in their 3rd game in 13 days after emotional wins over the Packers and the Lions. Dallas is entering far healthier and better rested with a bye week before Monday Night Football. Add to it all the trends you heard earlier from EB about Dak Prescott versus the NFC East. And then you think about the game script expectations. And we're going to talk about, if you want to, here's a little bonus for you, take the under here, because Pushing the Pile projects a low-scoring game with a strong lean to the under 47.5. I think it's 47 as we're recording, and a realistic Dallas home upside in a 21-17 profile. Fezzik from the Dream Preview likes the under at 47.5, citing Philadelphia's offensive regression and Dallas's defensive improvements.
Guys, there was a dissenting opinion from Gail Alexander beating the book. He picked Philadelphia -3. He believes the market is overrating the Cowboys after their blowout defeat of the Raiders. He said, quote, the Raiders are terrible, unquote. Expected Philadelphia to be -4.5 on the line, so -3 is value. Views the Eagles as the better team, quote, every which way, unquote. That sounds like an argument I make unsuccessfully to my wife as well. Unconvinced, as is Gil Alexander, that Dallas's defensive improvements for Week 1 rematch matter. Timestamps, Action Network, 8 minutes, 16 seconds. GM Shuffle, 42 minutes and 47 seconds. Forward Progress, 52 minutes, 58 seconds. Sharp or Square Podcast, 5 minutes and 4 seconds. Dream Preview, covered this one early, 23 minutes, 13 seconds. And that descent from Gil Alexander, you will find at the 39-minute, 25-second mark of beating the book.
All right, there you go. Creative week for all of us. We'll figure it out. Great job to the team for putting this together. Just remember, none of us are truly sharp. But this is your Sharp Squares podcast.
Good luck out there.